Welcome back, Ronin Renegades. I'm Lupine Fiasco, this is Daily FaB Gameplay, and we've got a first look at Olympia Prized Fighter. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will talk through turn cycles as if I were taking them now, give my thoughts on the line that I would take, then compare that to the line I did take. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like ProQuests or Road to Nationals, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, the FaB deck link is in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the daily FaB gameplay Discord. At higher tiers, your name will be listed in every DFG video, you'll get bonus content every week, and there are more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to go above and beyond to support me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard, and I'll give some opening thoughts. I took to heart my resolution to practice against fewer Talishar randoms and more of the better players I know, and now we are reaping the benefits. Rith is one of my locals, a good friend, and a great Flesh and Blood player. His resume includes many Armory top 8s, ProQuest top 8s, and at least one RTN finalist finish. He's usually a Ranger player, so I was intrigued when he told me that he's smitten with Olympia and has a build he wanted to test. Personally, I've had few thoughts about the hero as spoilers began rolling out. He read to me as Dorinthia with set mechanic, and I'm still not sure what to think of old Ollie. Games against Victor have shown me the power of gold as a payoff, as turning a blue into a card and a resource is very strong. FaB, of course, doesn't want to block and is bad at doing it, so it's very likely that Olympia is going to be winning his wagers and generating his gold. Olympia's deck is full of the ability to wager, but unlike what Dorinthia has trained us to prepare for, there are plenty of attack actions set to threaten us. Aside from these are the expected suite of warrior reactions, which also generate wager value for Olympia. The big difference between the two heroes is the weapon. As Olympia lacks the ability to easily give the Dawnblade an additional attack, he is more likely to be dual-wielding swords or swinging a great axe. Because we don't need to deal with the scaling damage of the Dawnblade, I am opting to load my Findal's Spring Tunic. My thought here was that I really didn't want to block, and we'd be rewarded for not doing so, and also that Olympia wouldn't have the damage to punish me for not having my extra 2 life. My thought was, let's go bigger on our big turns, which is also why I played without Sink Below. At least in early days, I want to see how aggressive I can be before I get punished for it. Let's see how I did. We, of course, have lost the die roll, and we will need to go first. Drawing into an interesting opening hand here, I like the decision to just pass and arsenal a Mounting Anger. Of course, drawing into the third Mounting Anger isn't really what I was hoping for. I would have liked to draw into any zero-cost Draconic card with Go Again to get real value out of Spreading Flames, but it wasn't meant to be. Olympia is just setting up a wagered Centauri Saber attack. We don't want to block this. We very rarely want to block anything that Olympia is going to throw at us. Like I said, we don't block well, and we lose a lot of damage by blocking. Usually the hands FaB draws that do block well are the low damage hands, which makes blocking a little more palatable. Clash of Agility here is just 7 damage. We are happy to take that. and bring it back to our turn. What is weird about this hand, of course, is that Spreading Flames doesn't actually buff up either Mounting Anger. With only 3 resources available for this turn, we get to do 3 things and a Phoenix Flame, and the best things that we can do are play 3 Mounting Angers. The first Mounting Anger gets covered by a Sync Blow. That's fine, because if the second Mounting Anger hits, it can banish the third Mounting Anger, which could then banish Phoenix Flame for damage. This Mounting Anger also gets covered by a defense reaction. We can expect that a Bastion-wielding Olympia would be playing a number of defense reactions. This is clearly a mid-range value deck. Third Mounting Anger gets covered by armor. We will just pick up and play our Phoenix Flame. We are not anticipating breaking Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. We have Spreading Flames in hand. Our Tunic will be at 3 counters on our next turn. We're really hoping to draw into a hand that lets us utilize these resources. We do. Having the Art of War and a blue to pay for this entire turn is massive. And thankfully, Olympia does not force us to interact with the attack in any way. Wage Vigor here is wagering, so not only do we take 7, but Olympia creates a Vigor. We are going to go way over the top of Olympia's defenses though. So we'll play our Spreading Flames, we will use our Art of War, we will banish our yellow Brand with Cinderclaw and see what we can draw into. A great couple of cards. 2 0-cost red Draconic attacks is going to let us get great value out of our Spreading Flames. We can use our Spring Tunic to generate the second resource needed to attack with our Emberblade. So we will need to throw one of these 0 for 3s following the Spreading Flames. We will also need to attack with our Emberblade in order to get the attack bonus from Spreading Flames to our Brand with Cinderclaw and our Blaze Headlong. We don't have the extra resource we would need to pick up and play our Phoenix Flame to get bonus damage to the Emberblade, but that's fine. We are still going to have a massive turn. I am not sure at which point I should be breaking Pouncing Lynx here. We would like to go as wide as we can before we make the decision and give Olympia an opportunity to block or take damage. We have 2 Tenacities in our deck. We also have 2 Salt the Wounds. So at this point, both Tenacity and Salt have additional 3 power. They are both getting the Brand with Cinderclaw bonus, which will give them the Spreading Flames bonus. So I'm not 100% sure what the correct call here was. We grab Salt. Salt comes in for 9, so Salt being the higher damage line, but if Olympia had chosen to block the Blaze Headlong or the Brand with Cinderclaw, I'm honestly not sure. The hand we draw into is really clunky. I'm really not sure what we're supposed to do with this. We could use our Snapdragons to E-Strike, draw a card. For those of you who have not met Bun yet, he is here with us. We could use our E-Strike Snapdragons to draw a card, bottom one of these Warmonger's Diplomacies, but we don't know if we're going to draw a starter. We really need something Draconic with Go Again to really pop off on this turn. So this may be a hand that is better utilized on defense. And we have the Centauri Saber coming in for 8 with a double wager. We can expect that Olympia probably has reactions coming behind this. At the time this game was recorded, I will tell you, I wasn't really thinking about Olympia's reactions because I hadn't seen them yet. This is my second game against Rith in a 3-game series. He had not played Up the Ante yet, so I didn't know to be aware of it. I think this block is 100% incorrect. We should not have given so much to stop this Saber attack. I think we had 2 good lines available to us, which were either to block with a Warmonger's Diplomacy, E-Strike for 7 on our turn, bottoming the second Warmonger's Diplomacy, and arsenaling Lava Burst, or we do no blocking on our turn. We take all of this damage. We send E-Strike for 5 with Go Again, bottoming the Warmonger's Diplomacy. Then we play the second Warmonger's and arsenal Lava Burst. I think especially committing our equipment to blocks here was wrong. I think committing 2 cards from hand was wrong. If I'm making this call now, knowing how at least Rith's Olympia plays, if not every Olympia, having a good mix of attack actions and non-attack actions, I am much lower on playing Warmonger's Diplomacy. If I can do it without seriously impacting my turn, I will. But I think the ideal play here was to block Saber with a Warmonger's, then E-Strike for 7. If we do that, Saber does not get the additional power from its effect of being blocked by an attack action. The up the ante brings it up to 12, so we take 9 and go to 12. Then we crack back for 7 and arsenal a finisher. I think, without being too results oriented, that is the correct play. And if we take that line, well, now we have 3 finishers, which is a little unfortunate. We have 4 less life, but we've potentially gotten cards out of Rith's hand. It's very likely that he blocks with this 4th card that is now going into the arsenal. Let's say, for argument's sake, that he's now at 8 and has no arsenal. We are at 7. So we still don't need to block the CNC. Not only are we at 7, but we also have Tunic and Shuko available. So now we could block the CNC. We could give our 2 pieces of armor. We could give our Lava Burst in hand. And on our turn, we Rising Resentment for 2, Emberblade for 3, Phoenix Flame for 1, Lava Burst for 5, Tenacity for an unknown number. And we're really threatening lethal. And not only are we threatening lethal, but we are also highly incentivizing Rith to block with this armor, to stop the Rising Resentment, maybe to use a card from hand to stop the Emberblade, and all of this is buffing up our Tenacity. So even in a very quick game like this, we are seeing how blocking as aggressively as we did led to a huge blowout. It's week -2 of heavy hitters meta. This is my 2nd game against Olympia using cards I've never seen before. I'm totally fine with the way this game is going, and I'm really happy to be able to show you this game because we saw how good my pop-off turn was with Spreading Flame's Art of War. I'm really high on that combo of cards now. I'm really glad I'm playing this Emberblade focused list that plays much more into Spreading Flames. But I'm glad that we're also getting to see what Olympia did. Olympia had a huge reaction that blew out our big blocks. But we can also see that if we didn't block there, we're still at a pretty comfortable life total, getting to throw a lot of damage back at Olympia. Olympia is not Dorinthia, right? He doesn't have the Dawnblade, his damage doesn't scale. If we think of his deck as being filled with 0 for 3s and 1 for 3s, well, now he's just FaB. He's FaB without the huge Art of War potential. He has his cash-ins, he has his up the ante, but up the ante has a limited damage ceiling, and it is usually buffing up something that at its base is a 1 for 2. And that's something that FaB can deal with by not blocking. I choose not to block the Saber here because, again, I don't know what reactions Olympia plays. I'm checking the discard to see, well, Olympia hasn't wagered this turn, so that's going to limit what he can play. But of course, this Vigorous Engagement is going to get Olympia the +3 power he needs to kill us. If I know to expect Vigorous Engagement, I am blocking with Lava Vein Loyalty here. I still take 3 damage. Olympia makes a Vigor. I go to 2. On my turn, I get to send Rising Resentment, Pitch Brand for Emberblade, Phoenix Flame. I highly doubt it's enough to get us the win, right? I think the huge blowout from Up the Ante really put this game away. Definitely hard for us to come back from that. We did a ton of damage. 18.5 value per turn is massive. But we threw it all away on that bad block, and that just really reinforces what I had thought going into this game. We got by Rith's tight plays and a little inexperience, and we saw that Ollie can put some real damage together, right? Cash in and gold, turning a 3-card hand into a 5-card hand is the real deal. But as for my sideboard plan, I saw nothing that changed my mind about leaving our defense reactions and our Furnace in the deck box. Outside of some clunky hands, I think we were really rewarded for pushing for big damage, and I think that as we get more reps against Olympia, we'll see much more clearly when we'll get rewarded for any sparse blocking, but we'll also see that this all-gas, no-breaks game plan is ideal into Olympia. The warrior class has changed with the release of heavy hitters, and just like how we needed to adapt to beat Victor, we're going to need to adapt to beat Olympia. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. I am getting a ton of fun out of these new games against heavy hitters, heroes, and I'm having a lot of fun playing with the guys I know that are good at the game and have the same drive that I do to improve. So if you did enjoy this, if you did learn something, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. Again, if you've not already done so, I would please encourage you to subscribe to my channel. It is the best way to support me, and it's free. But whether you do or don't, I will see you back here tomorrow for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.